Hi, and welcome to the Garden Fix. I'm Kristen, and I'm here in Western Pennsylvania, Zone 6B. Today we're going to do a quick unboxing video for my Bluestone Perennials order, and I have 5 plants in here that I really haven't taken a good look at yet, other than just opening the box earlier to make sure they get a little air and a little bit of moisture. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I don't really have much of a plan for any of these plants of where they're going to go yet. I did pick some of these plants out having in mind a specific area that I've been having trouble with one of the raised beds, that the soil is very sandy and very fast draining, and some of the plants that I currently have in there have been struggling. So I've ordered some ideal replacements. Not that all of these plants are going to go in that area, but at least some might. So the first plant I'm going to pull out here. So this is a Delphinium called Flamenco, or this is a perennial larkspur. So this gets double flowers, and it says they don frilly, dusky pink petals with violet undertones in the summer. Full sun to part shade, grows 30 inches tall. So I'm excited to have another Delphinium. The one that I have had for the last couple of years is not doing well this year, and I'm not really sure why. So I'm glad to have a backup if I need to replace that plant. So next up is a new plant that I've never planted before. This is a perennial. This is called Nadia, Thunder and Lightning. It says it gets cream and green leaves, so I guess these are going to get some variegation, although they don't really have a whole lot yet, other than maybe you can see that the veining on the leaves is more cream colored. The flowers get dark magenta pincushion flowers, and it says they flower summer to fall. Full sun to part shade, and 12 to 15 inches tall. So all the lighting requirements would be pretty good for that area that I do have in mind, although it does tend to get some hot afternoon sun. It depends on what's growing around it. Sometimes the other plants in that raised bed can provide some shade for the plants that will appreciate a little bit of shade. So next up here is a salvia, and you know how much we love salvias in our garden. So this is a Salvia nemorosa, which is the perennial salvia. This one is called Plumosa, and it says about the color that it gets deep rosy lilac plumes that bloom all summer long. And what struck me about when I saw this in the catalog is that the flowers did seem like they were a little fuller, almost like a double flower, so it gave the appearance of a fluffier plant. These grow again in full sun to part shade, grow 18 inches tall, and they typically get about maybe 2 feet wide. So always nice to have another salvia to add to our collection. So next up is Penstemon, and we have a couple Penstemons already in our garden. We have 2 in the bird bath garden. One's white and one is a light purple, and those 2 particular plants have dark green or slightly purple foliage. This one you can see is just a regular or lighter green foliage, and the color for the flowers on this one is different. This one is called Cherry Sparks, and it gets cherry red bells with white throats, blooming spring through summer. These like full sun to part shade, 18 to 20 inches tall. I'm not sure if I'm going to group it together with the other Penstemons because the color is so different. I might put it somewhere else in the garden. All right, so last up, one more plant here. So this is another plant that I don't have a lot of experience with. This is a Physostegia or obedient plant called Summer Snow. And this is a full sun plant, grows 3 feet tall, and it gets white flowers that bloom midsummer through fall. I don't know a whole lot about the obedient plant other than it gets its name from the fact that it does stay where you put it. It doesn't tend to spread. So you don't have to worry about it running, or I'm not even sure about dividing it. I'm sure all plants you do eventually have to divide, but we'll see what our experience is with this plant and take you along on the journey. So one thing I'd like to mention about ordering from Bluestone Perennials, which I do really like this company, and you can see that they send out very good quality plants, and they take care in packing their plants, but something specific about what they do is they send out their plants in these coco coir pots, And these are biodegradable pots that you don't even have to take off. You can plant the whole plant in this pot. I would suggest making slits around the sides and maybe opening up the bottom just so that the roots have a little easier time getting out. They do take a little while to break down. I have some plants that we planted last year in these biodegradable pots, and you can still see that coco coir present even though they have opened up to the point to allow more roots to come out. And one thing to know that when they stay in these pots, it's kind of like that Jiffy Pot experience. It will cause the plant to dry out a little quicker. I've had some problems with that in the raised bed where the soil is so fast draining and requires a little extra water. Plants have struggled in these pots in the raised bed situation, but out in the garden where we have more of our wet clay soils, they do just fine. So we'll be sure to take you along and give you updates about where we decide to put these plants in the garden. And I hope you enjoyed this video today, and let me know if you are specifically excited about one of these plants, or if you have any information or advice you'd like to give us about the two plants we're unfamiliar with, the obedient plant and the Nadia. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do, and follow us on Instagram if you haven't. So again, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you in the garden.